Thomas Hearns is now 66, and his wife just revealed something heartbreaking but also inspiring. The Detroit legend, who once earned $40 million in the ring, has faced battles outside boxing that would break most men. But this isn't a story about a fallen champion. This is about a man who keeps fighting, even when the world stops watching. Thomas the Hitman Hearns dominated boxing like few others. His record speaks for itself: 61 wins, 5 losses, 1 draw, and 48 knockouts. He became a 5-weight world champion, conquering divisions from welterweight to light heavyweight. They called him the Hitman and Motor City Cobra for good reason. His legendary fights against Sugar Ray Leonard, Marvin Hagler, and Roberto Duran are still talked about today. But when the lights dimmed and the crowds went home, Hearns faced a different kind of opponent. His own generosity became his greatest weakness. Growing up poor in Detroit, Hearns never forgot where he came from. When success arrived, so did the extended family. Everyone looked to Tommy as their savior. "I made a lot of money in boxing," Hearns admitted years later. "But as a man who had a large family, people looked at you as their savior. You tried to help them by giving. It doesn't stop. I'm the big brother. I give and I give." Those words capture the heart of a champion who couldn't say no to family in need. The numbers tell a sobering story. By 1991, Hearns had earned an estimated $40 million. Yet by 2009, he owed over $400,000 in back taxes and more than $500,000 in overdue mortgage payments. The IRS filed multiple liens against him. In August 2008, they wanted $90,000 for unpaid 2007 taxes. In March 2009, another lien for $145,000 from 2006. The state of Michigan also came calling for over $5,000 more. These weren't small oversights. They represented years of putting family first and finances second. Freeloading relatives, as one source called them, had drained the champion's accounts. The man who knocked out opponents with devastating power couldn't knock sense into those who took advantage of his kindness. The solution was as public as it was painful. On April 3, 2010, Hearns held an auction at the auction block of Detroit. Everything had to go. His personal boxing memorabilia, including a robe from his legendary fight with Sugar Ray Leonard, sold for $1,100. Trunks, gloves, and headgear that were stained with his own sweat and blood went to the highest bidders. But it wasn't just boxing gear. Hearns sold boats, including a 47-foot fountain boat. ATVs and a 3-wheeled motorcycle hit the auction block. Even his classic 1957 Chevy found a new owner. These weren't just possessions. They were pieces of his life, his success, his identity. "It went well," Hearns said after the auction. "People were very kind to attend." Even in his lowest moment, the champion showed class. Fans didn't come to gawk at a fallen hero. They came to support a man who had given them so much joy. The auction became less about his failure and more about their loyalty. The physical toll of boxing also caught up with Hearns. Those who met him in recent years noticed changes. His speech became slurred. He mumbled words that once flowed clearly. Observers described him as slow in movement, absent-minded, and unfocused. One fan who heard him speak said, "I could hardly understand a thing. He's awfully punch-drunk. A lot of stuttering, a lot of slurring. It's really sad." These symptoms point to a grim reality many boxers face. Chronic traumatic encephalopathy, or CTE, was once called boxer's dementia. The repeated blows to the head that made Hearns famous also damaged his brain. While he passed an MRI in 2006, Dr. Margaret Goodman, a respected fight doctor, warned that by the time you see something on a test, it's too late. The disagreement between medical experts highlighted boxing's broken system. Brad Wright from the Michigan Boxing Commission thought Hearns sounded better than expected. Dr. Goodman insisted his speech and reflexes had deteriorated badly. She believed he should never fight again. Yet boxing's scattered regulations meant other states might still license him. In 2006, Hearns faced legal trouble that made headlines for all the wrong reasons. Police arrested him at his Detroit home following a domestic assault incident. His wife had called authorities after an argument with their 13-year-old son turned physical. Officers found the boy with a small cut and bruise over one eye. Under Michigan law, any injury in a domestic situation requires arrest. Hearns was charged with misdemeanor assault and battery. The details of his final legal resolution remain unclear from public records. But this incident represented another low point for a man already struggling with finances and health. It showed that even champions can lose control when pressure mounts. Yet Hearns didn't disappear in shame. He remained active in Detroit, serving as a reserve police officer with the Detroit Police Department. His family runs Hearns Entertainment, helping younger fighters navigate the sport that gave and took so much from Tommy. He appears at public events and continues engaging with fans who still see him as a symbol of hope. In 2024, at age 66, Hearns faced another physical challenge. He underwent successful hip replacement surgery, describing his condition as bone-on-bone overlapping hip bone. True to form, he shared his recovery journey on Instagram, showing followers his rehabilitation process. He expressed optimism about returning to the gym, proving that the fighting spirit never leaves a true champion. The hip surgery adds another layer to Hearns' health struggles. While much attention focuses on brain damage in boxing, the sport destroys entire bodies. Joints wear down from years of training and fighting. Bones break and heal poorly. The human body wasn't designed for the punishment professional boxers endure. Despite everything, Hearns remains beloved in Detroit. Fans see him as more than a former champion. He represents resilience, determination, and the ability to keep going when life hits harder than any opponent ever did. His willingness to auction personal items rather than hide his problems earned respect. His openness about family financial pressure humanized him. The support from Detroit runs deep. When people bought his sweat-stained gear and personal belongings, they weren't taking advantage of his desperation. They were investing in his survival. They transformed a humiliating necessity into an act of community love. That's the power of authentic connection between a fighter and his people. What his wife revealed through calling police in 2006 wasn't just about one bad night. It showed a man under impossible pressure, trying to hold everything together while his world crumbled. The arrest became a wake-up call, not a career ender. Hearns faced the consequences and moved forward, just like he did with every other challenge. Today, Thomas Hearns stands as proof that champions aren't defined by perfect records or endless wealth. They're defined by how they respond to adversity. His financial collapse, legal troubles, and health problems would have broken weaker men. But Hearns adapted, survived, and remained standing. His story resonates because it's real. Athletes face unique pressures that most people never experience. The window for earning massive money is small. The pressure to support extended family is enormous. The physical damage accumulates silently until it can't be ignored anymore. Hearns experienced all of this while maintaining his dignity and connection to his community. The champion who once knocked out opponents with devastating power now fights different battles against creditors who wanted their money, against a brain that doesn't work like it used to, against a body breaking down from decades of abuse, against a legal system that treated him like any other defendant. Yet he keeps fighting because that's what champions do. Thomas Hearns' legacy extends far beyond his boxing record. He represents the complicated reality of athletic fame in America, the incredible highs and devastating lows that come with being a public figure, the way communities rally around their heroes, even when those heroes stumble and fall. His wife's decision to call police that night in 2006 might have seemed like betrayal to some, but it showed the courage to do what was necessary for her family's safety. Sometimes the people who love us most make the hardest decisions. Sometimes those decisions save us from ourselves. What do you think about athletes who give too much to family? Did Hearns deserve better support from the boxing industry? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Like this video if you believe true champions never stop fighting, even when the battles move outside the ring. Subscribe for more stories about legends whose greatest fights happened when nobody was watching.